Hi there, welcome. Going to give you an overview of Fusion today. This is a platform for helping build startups together. With this platform, we basically are looking at building the number one startup community specifically for students. Students at universities around the world come in and can learn about startups. They start their journey with an accelerator called Startup 101, and it's really to help understand what are startups, what are the steps to getting your startup off the ground, a lot of guidance there. We also are putting together accelerators within schools, within the universities, so that it becomes easier to find other students and other faculty and resources that are available within the school to help your startup. And then we're also looking at collaborating on industry accelerators. So once your startup is off the ground, what industry is it targeting? Is there a way we could help it by providing an industry-specific accelerator? We're also tying most of these accelerators in with founders, mentors, investors. We're looking at providing funding, really to help your startup also get recognition at demo days, where you can showcase your startup, connect with other investors. The overall objective is to maximize the value or maximize your time and maximize your chances of success with your startup. We've now funded over 100 startups. Several of these have become worth over $100 million, and some of these are now getting close to $2 billion or a combined $2 billion. Both Stored and Link Squares are kind of in that unicorn category, and lots of other startups that are quickly scaling up and look to grow this community of startup founders together. And again, starting off with these are the two accelerators that are kind of the starting point on our platform, Startup 101. And inside of this, the main focus will be about, what kind of idea do you have, or let's brainstorm startup ideas, help you think about where do you want to build your startup, or what kind of problem are you solving, and what kind of customers, and so on. And then ultimately you got to validate it with customer discovery. Looks all great on paper until you start talking to real customers, and then that's where you find out what's their real pain points and how urgent is the problem, and would they actually become a customer? Would they buy your product? And then we try to take all that information, help you put it into a pitch deck. This will help you articulate kind of the problem, the solution, the market, the go-to-market business strategy, the business model. All of that needs to be captured into a pitch deck. And then finally, the actual launch of your solution. Launch your product into what they call minimal viable product. All of this needs to be kind of encapsulated into Startup 101 as the basics of getting off the ground. Once you're beyond Startup 101, we have another accelerator kind of focusing on, now that you've launched your product, we're calling it Ignite. Let's take it from, help you with funding. We provide funding, we help you grow and go, how do you scale up your marketing? How do you do sales? Ultimately, we're also trying to connect you with investors through Demo Day. So those are your two main accelerators. And then there's school accelerators. When you sign up, pick your school. This will show you what accelerators are associated with it. If there are no accelerators, you can create your own. We're also, here's an example of Georgia Tech. We've been working with them the longest and collaborated to build CreateX, which has had really over 500 startups go through the program, and we've seen lots of success having an accelerator at the university level, helping students kind of understand the ropes and what's the process for getting incorporated and how to talk to customers and connect with other founders. That's really changed the culture at Georgia Tech, and we want to help enable other schools to have accelerators, and even if they have them, can we help provide kind of a back end for optimizing the accelerator to connect the community together. The other big piece is the industry accelerators. You can see we have Cyber Launch, which is cybersecurity, and Game Tech Hub, and Factory Fuel, and Current Catalyst. These are all different accelerators on specific industries. So whatever industry you're in, Look for an accelerator for it. If there is none, feel free to create an industry accelerator for it. But the long-term goal is to bring mentors, investors, and then startups that are in these industries together and help them grow and scale faster. Within each accelerator, not only is it a community, but we've enabled you to put course work in it. So you can see here's Startup 101, where here's a welcome, here's how to ideate, here's how to find founders or co-founders, here's how to build your minimal viable product, do customer validation. One of the main goals that's probably the trickiest is getting your product market fit. Does your product and market that you're going after, how tight is that fit? And if you can find a market that really wants your product, then you're off to the races. And then we help you put together a pitch deck and really turn your idea into the business. And part of also taking the course, we also are tracking it on a metrics basis where you can put in how far along are you with ideation? How about, how many customers have you talked to? Is your pitch deck done? Have you launched your product? All of these things can be tracked, and we can then give the accelerator and yourself kind of visibility into how are you doing against other startups and see the rate of progress or the velocity of the startup. Is it moving fast? Is it achieving its goals, etc.? And then part of what we're enabling is a showcase. When you get your pitch deck and pitch videos put together, please post these into the startup showcase. This will be an area that we're going to fund startups out of. So if you can post your startup here, this would be a great way to get attention and awareness for your startup that you're telling your story. So look forward to seeing you guys post your startup here and showcase it. And then on top of it, one of the things that we've been doing is funding startups at $500,000 commitment. In many cases, if they're student startups, we break them into what we call tranches or phases based on objectives, going from, hey, it's a startup idea while student, and then, have a second tranche when you go full-time on your startup, and then have a third tranche that's, is this a repeatable business? And so then we basically fund you at all three stages of as you're scaling your business. And then finally, as you're getting funded, you're now part of Ignite. And this is where we really want to help you on your growth, traction. How do you target different channels and different ways to market, as well as how do you put together a sales strategy? What type of salespeople do you hire? What's the best way to get customer acquisition? How do you grow that? How do you grow your team? And then finally, all of this will, if you can show some traction where people are now starting to buy your product and or service, we want to put you in a demo day, and if you want to grow faster, it's a great way to connect with investors. And I think all of this kind of wraps up into our overall vision, which is connecting you to this community of founders, mentors, investors, provide funding, and then connecting you with really lots of accelerators, whether it's for your school, for your industry, or just getting off the ground. We'd love to see your startup succeed, and we're here to help grow that. So thanks for joining and being part of this.